All right, welcome back, y'all. Well, we're going into part 2. So in part 1, we talked about Mula Vidya, right? And how Purush actually had this, it's the wishful thinking of Purush, right? That creation actually has no existence, but Purush started tricking itself, okay? So, from Mula Vidya, we have Sat. Now, Sat recognizes itself as Purush, but is tainted by avidya, okay? Because it sees itself as an entity or a child of Purush instead of the truth. So Purush now becomes invisible and hidden within a body that lacks the attributes and qualifications of the original. So Sat is the actual entity that is truthful because it knows that it is primal Purush, but it sees itself as something different because of the effect of avidya, saying that this is something other than the all. Okay? So Sat is now the actual entity that is something else that Purush is going to start living inside of. Okay? Living. From that, you get avyakta. Okay? So avyakta is the phase where Purush is the secret hidden presence in this creation. That's called avyakta. That's the state, okay? The external facade while carrying the immortal truth within itself. So that process is called avyakta, okay? Then from avyakta, you have mahatattva, okay? Which is the essential virtues, as I've talked about before in explaining Mahat. It is the virtues that granted greatness to the falsehood. So this was where that affirmation was made. This was where it was like, okay, now I'm going to prove that this entity exists. Okay, that's the mahatattva. Okay, because the creator felt proud of what was produced and enabled magnificent capabilities to live a life independently. So now Purush, within its own mind, has created an entity that is still within its own mind, but this entity is now seeing itself as something other than the all, and therefore it's not going back to being the all. It is now living as a thing, right? And this thing is going to start experiencing perceptions or ways to confirm itself as this thing that is separate from the all. All right, join me in part 3, where we break down the sense perceptions, aka the Tan mantras.